Does anybody know how many people are currently on Social Security right now? Just take a guess. There's currently 69 million people, and we're in negative cash flow right now. So where are we going to get the money for 140 million people in the next 23 years? Take a guess. Where do you think it could come from? Welcome back to the next episode of Wealth Strategies to Value. I'm your host, Troy Shorts. And today we are going to discuss the state of the economy. We're going to have a discussion about what's really going on. And I'm really surprised that no one is actually talking about this, because this is coming our way. This is something that could actually be absolutely devastating to our country and our citizens. What I'm here to tell you is the government is not going to be able to help us. They're not going to be able to save us from what's coming. Wall Street is not going to be able to save us from what's coming our way. Wall Street has a multitude of issues currently that they have to deal with. The banks are not going to be able to help us with what's coming. Are you familiar with Wells Fargo? They are in big trouble. They've done so many things illegally. The real estate debacle, they had 3 million fake accounts where the executives were being bonused for setting up accounts fraudulently. And guess what? Nobody went to jail. They gave them a fine. They slapped them on the wrist. I mean, the fine was like, $1 billion. Like, what's $1 billion to Wells Fargo? That's like a cup of water in the ocean. Not a big deal. So what I'm saying is we got to understand what's coming so we know what to do, so we can prepare for it. Our government just doesn't do the things that I don't believe that our government cares about the people anymore. They care about government. Okay. So I want to give you a report from our government, from the Trustee Report. And this is really important information. Medicare will become insolvent in 2026. And it wasn't scheduled to be insolvent until 2029. So how far away is 2026? Well, this is March 2022. All right. So we only have a couple of years before Medicare is insolvent. So where are we going to get the money to pay for the people on Medicare? Right. Trustee Report says Social Security is currently in negative cash flows as of 2018. It wasn't supposed to be in negative cash flow until 2022, which is this year. So it went in negative cash flow in 2018. All right. So again, where are we going to get the money to pay for Social Security? All right. So here's some statistics that I really think are important. There are currently 74 million people that are called baby boomers. These people were born between 1946 and 1964. There's 74 million of them. So if you take 1964 and you add 65 years, 2029 is the year that every single one of those 74 million people will be over the age of 65 and collecting Social Security. That's only 7 years away. Like, how far is 7 years? Like 7 years away. So it's on us. It's now, So again, where is the government going to get the money to pay for 74 million people who are over age 65? All right. Now, right behind them are what we call the Generation Xers. You see, that's people like me. Generation Xers, there are 66 million of them that are coming right behind the baby boomers, 74 million, right? These people were born between 1965 and 1980, 66 million, all right? So if you take 65 plus 1980, 2045, That's 23 years. In 23 years, we're going to have an additional 66 million people over the age of 65. Where are we going to get the money to pay Social Security? All right. So let's do some quick math. So in 23 years, 77 plus 66 is 140 million people. In a short 23 years is less than a generation. In a generation from now, there will be 140 million people over the age of 65 collecting Social Security. See, the government promised us Social Security, right? Where are we going to get the money? Does anybody know how many people are currently on Social Security right now? Just take a guess. There's currently 69 million people, and we're in negative cash flow right now. So where are we going to get the money for 140 million people in the next 23 years? Take a guess. Where do you think it could come from? Where are we going to get the money? Do you think the government knows this? Why aren't they talking about this? Because they don't have any answers. And it's all about getting elected. It's all about getting votes. And what you have to understand is that this is coming. I can't predict the stock market. I can't predict interest rates, but darn it, I can predict this is happening. This is going to happen. This is coming our way. So we have to understand that the government is going to raise taxes, right? Do you believe the taxes will be higher in the future, right? We have a $30 trillion deficit in our economy at this present time. The interest on the $30 trillion deficit is $428 billion a year. That's just the interest on the loan. Where are we going to get the money? Government is going to raise taxes. Government is going to have to reduce benefits. And government is going to print money. What happens when they print money? What happens to the value of your dollar? Does the value of your dollar go up? Does the value of your dollar go down? Well, you know the answer to that question. If you are a son or daughter of a Generation Xer, if you're 40 years old or younger, guess what? I feel sorry for you. You're in trouble. Your tax return could say, line number 1, how much did you earn? Line number 2, send it into the government because we need it, right? I don't want to scare you, but what I want you to understand is that there are products and services out here that will enable you to be safe from what's coming our way. And all it takes is just a little bit of planning and preparation, all right? There's 2 websites that I want you to go to. The first one is called the usdebtclock.org. All right. And on this website, it will clearly illustrate to you and show you what's really going on. And it's the truth of what's going on in our country. The second website is called truthinaccounting.org. All right. And depending on where you live in the country, this is a cool website because you can plug in your state and it will show you what's the state of the finances in the state that I live in. Well, you know, I live in New Jersey. Okay. Well, when I went on this website and I did some looking around, the worst three states in the United States financially, Connecticut, New Jersey, and Illinois. Some people say that Illinois could literally be the first state that files for bankruptcy. This website, there's a guy named Bergman, and you can go on there, truthinaccounting.org. You can subscribe to his blog. It's free. And you can plug in, if you're a pensioner from, police and fire pensioner, nurses, teachers, municipal workers, you can clearly see how your pensions are doing financially. They will give you the numbers to tell you, what the deficit is, what the unpaid liabilities are. And you'll be able to really just do some homework and some investigation. You don't have to listen to the guy on the job who doesn't know what he's talking about. This is the truth. All right. So when you go to usdebtclock.org, there's something that I found on there that was pretty interesting. And what it talked about was the GDP of the country. So for those of you who don't know what that means, it's gross domestic product. So basically the GDP of the United States of America is currently $24 trillion. So all that means is when all of the people in our country go to work and they sell their goods and services, it's worth $24 trillion. That's what we produce a year. And what I found was interesting is that at this particular time, the government takes about $4 trillion of that out to pay federal taxes, to pay corporate taxes, to pay estate taxes, to pay Social Security taxes, to pay Medicare taxes. And there's another 3.6 trillion that comes out to pay like state taxes, property taxes, sales taxes, fees, licenses, blah, blah, blah. So if you take the 24, you subtract 4 from the federal, you subtract 3.6, that's about $7.6 trillion that comes out of the 24. So right now, if you divide those numbers, over 30% of the gross domestic product is being taxed right now. So what happens when all this hits the fan? If it's 30% now, do you think that number is going to go up or go down? Where are we going to get the money? All right. Trump's new tax law, when that went into effect, did that increase the amount of taxpayers, or do you think that decreased the amount of taxpayers? What do you think? Well, it decreased the amount of taxpayers. If you make more than $110,000 a year, which we don't believe is a lot of money, right? I mean, that can get you by, but that's about it. You're not rich, right? The government looks at you as one of the top 10% income earners in our country. So it's only 110,000 puts you in the top 10%. That's not a lot of money. All right. So the question is, when they're looking for these dollars in the future because they're broke, are they going to get the money from the 90%, or are they going to get the money from the 10% of the people who are broke? What do you think? Right. Well, what you have to understand is 10% of the people in our country are going to be responsible for paying 87% of the taxes due. You see, the government's going to still get the tax revenue. They're just going to get it from less and less people, right? So here's the question. Are we going to have inflation? Are we going to have increases in taxes? Are we going to have market volatility? Are we going to have another real estate debacle? Are we going to have another healthcare scare like COVID? Are we going to live a long, long, long time? And, if we do live a long time, we have to understand that we could run out of money. All right. So what we do at Shorts and Associates is we take a close look at what's going on, and we are able to show people ways where I'm not trying to scare you, but I'm just trying to make you aware. This is coming, and you have to have a strong plan because we live in a tough world. So one of the things that we talk about is, how do you not just understand what's coming, but how do you take advantage of it? How can all this bad stuff not affect you? Because your money is in such a place where it's private, where it's safe, where it's accessible. So when all these things happen, you will be above and not beneath. And I talk a lot about 401ks and IRAs and pension. I talk a lot about that because most of the people who have the bulk of their money in those deferred accounts, guess what? The government's got their eye on you. Listen, you literally have a bullseye on your back, because when they need this money, when this stuff hits the fan, they're coming after that money. So what is your exit strategy? How are you going to reposition your dollars to make sure that you are in control of the amount of taxes that you're going to be responsible for paying, as opposed to being controlled by the government who's starving and broke? So I really appreciate your time and your attention today, and reach out to us. Oh, I have a new website I want to share with everybody. Wealth Strategies to Value podcast is now able to be viewed audibly and video. It's WSTVpodcast.com. So check us out, where you can see all of our episodes, both video and audio, on our new website. All right. Thanks, guys. Until next time. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.